was affected by violence and crime with my ex-husband. When I divorced him, he began to stalk me. He terrorized me to the point where I had to relocate and live with my parents. And he began to stalk me even at my parents' house, to the point where I had to go and get a protective order, and my parents had to get a peace order against him. When the first incident happened, once I was awarded the protective order through the court, I actually contacted the police, and I had to go to court, and I had to prove to the court that he actually did this incident. It was a long process, and what I had to do was each of the incidents that happened, I recorded the incidents because it wasn't really clear at the time that he was the one that was doing the stalking, even though I knew that it was him. So each and every incident I had to record, and I built up a binder of specific incidents that were happening to me. I went through the state's attorney's office, and they assigned me a attorney there, and we had to gradually formulate my case until I was able to actually go into court and press charges against my ex. I first heard about CAFY through the state's attorney's office. So once I was assigned a state's attorney, they also, because it was considered a domestic violence, they told me about CAFY and gave me a contact number to call so that I could talk to them about being an advocate for me, being there in support of me through the whole court process. Well, if it weren't for CAFY, I have to say I would not have gone through this whole process. CAFY provided for me the support that I needed not to let go of my case. I mean, it was a very hard process for me going through the court system, but CAFY was there throughout the whole process. My advocate was there each and every time I had to go to court. If there were questions that I had, my advocate was able to work with the police department and help assist me with things. My advocate also followed up with the state's attorney's office for me. So she was actually really my guiding tool through this whole process. I did feel re-victimized over and over again because, again, when I would go to court, unfortunately, I felt as though my ex-husband understood how to manipulate the court process. So we would go in and he would pretend like he was ill, and the court would continue to postpone the cases over and over again. So for me, it was almost as if I was just continuously going through it, and I just felt like there was not going to be any hope. Yes, I didn't realize when I became a self-defined survivor. As a matter of fact, I felt that through a program that took place at CAFY, where I was asked to speak and to actually talk about the experience that I had gone through. Being able to finally tell my story and share my story with other women that have gone through similar situations with me, and to see their responses really gave me the encouragement. And I felt at that point in time that I had come through. My words of encouragement would be to never give up, first and foremost, because no matter how hard the situation may seem, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. It is a long road, but you will finally, if you stick with it, you will find some progress. I would also say that documentation is so vital. when you're going through this. Every single thing that happens and takes place, you should document it per day, by time, and then just give a brief explanation of what's taking place. Anything that you see, make sure that you document it. That was one of my saving graces, because it was very hard to prove what my ex-husband was doing to me. But because I documented everything, we were finally able to put all of the links together and build up a case. So that's extremely important. But just no matter how hard it seems, and there's going to be times where it seems like you'll never make progress, do not give up. I would like to share that I, again, would not have been able to go through this process and feel the comfort level that I do if it weren't for CAFY and my advocate at CAFY. Even to this day, they're still very supportive of me. They have always been here, and because of that, I have been able to go through this process, and I honestly believe that things will continue to get better for me.